Steelers fans, Kevin Smith with you, doing another video breakdown of the Steelers in the 2024 season. And today we're looking at last week's game against the Indianapolis Colts, and specifically the question as to what's kind of going on in the run game. It felt as though Cordarrelle Patterson was a lot more productive than Najee Harris, and people have been asking questions. Is Harris struggling? Is he failing to see blocks? Is he failing to recognize cuts? And when you go back and you look at the film, it's inarguable that Patterson was more productive, but there are reasons for that go beyond Harris maybe just struggling a little bit in the run game, and it has to do with math. All right, so let's start right here. First quarter, Steelers trailing 7-0, one of Pittsburgh's first possessions of the game, and they're going to run a little zone scheme to the right here. Right? You're going to see everybody kind of like zone block here to their right, and Harris is going to hit it, towards the right B gap. And as you watch this play develop, right, it's a short run. We'll see what happens here. Steelers can't get off to the backer. Harris is tackled. He gets up. He looks a little frustrated there as he gets up. You see him throw his arms up. But let's go back really and just and look at what's really happening here. I mentioned it's a math issue. Count the blockers for Pittsburgh, right? If we go left to right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. Now count the defenders for an Indianapolis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Indy's just got +1 in the box. And that's going to be really hard for any offense to be able to handle. It gets especially hard because watch the defensive tackle right here as Anderson and Zach Frazier perform a combo block, and Anderson tries to chip off onto the linebacker. This defensive tackle will hold him. Really should have been a defensive holding call, right? You see him grab him right there and keep him from climbing. Anderson throws his hand up. But still, even if this penalty doesn't get called, right, this is an issue for the Steelers because, as you can see, even if Anderson climbs to make the block right here, that hole is going to be cluttered and it's going to force a cutback from Harris. But look what Harris is going to cut back into, the unblocked 7th defender. The Steelers don't have enough guys to block Indy's defenders, and that will be a common theme as we progress. Here's another clip from later in the first quarter. Similar situation. Steelers in what looks to be like a rundown. Now they have 7 guys up front. You got two tight ends. You see Darnell Washington here and Pat Freiermuth there, giving them a 7-man line. And Indy's got 7 defenders in the box. You can count them up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But you're going to see Van Jefferson motion across here. And as Jefferson motions across, an 8th defender is going to emerge here, while a 9th defender is going to come down into the box to pick up the motion across. So you see, here comes the motion, and look at the reaction now that creates, right? You see now down here that 8th defender, and then just creeping in here, you'll see him in a second, is the 9th run defender. Again, just not enough bodies to be able to account for all the blue jerseys. And so you see Harris try to plug this thing up the middle. Dan Moore Jr. misses a block. You watch Dan Moore Jr. there at the left tackle. You'll see him miss on the defensive tackle who spins off right there, right? You can see the defensive tackle spinning off, and he's going to spin into Harris. But again, man, look at the box. If Harris cuts this way, he's cutting into an unblocked defender. If he cuts this way, he's cutting into an unblocked defender. I mean, Indy really just has the box jammed up early in this football game. They know the Steelers want to establish the run. They're loading the box. Pittsburgh doesn't have enough numbers to block it effectively, and Najee Harris's run numbers suffer as a result. Okay, contrast what we just saw with Harris to what we see later in the game with Patterson. Here's the Steelers late in the first half. Now they're down 17-0. And Indianapolis is clearly not as concerned about the run game. So the Steelers are in this double tight end set that we just saw. It's just flipped over to the other side. Here on your left is Washington and Freiermuth. And they're going to run another sort of zone action play, this kind of a weak side zone. But so you got 7 Steelers blockers, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Colts defenders. This safety is kind of at the edge of the box there as the 8th guy. But watch what happens now when the Steelers run the motion. All right, there goes Van Jefferson, and that actually removes a player from the box, right? Number 45 walks out and creates a more of an open box for Cordarrelle Patterson, right? You see it right there. There goes 45 exiting the box down here to the bottom of your screen as the motion man goes across. And the Steelers have a nice picture inside right now. They got 7 to block 6. 7 to block 6. You'll take that any day of the week. And they get a good wash on the zone to the left, and Patterson cuts it back, and it's a really nice job of the Steelers of covering guys up. But again, Indy is no longer +1 in the box. It's a more friendly run environment, and Patterson gets a nice little play here as a result. One more example. Here we are in that same drive. Steelers now kind of spreading the formation a little bit more. They're in an 11 personnel set. They've only got 6 guys, 6 blockers in line, three wide receivers on the field. But you see the six Pittsburgh blockers in here, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Indianapolis defenders. It's 6 against 6. And that is a friendly box to run the football. And Pittsburgh runs a little one-back power scheme. Everybody kind of blocking down. And here the guard is going to wrap around onto the play side linebacker. And they got a good look for it, man. They got a good look, and they're able to now to hit this thing. Patterson picking his way nicely for another nice run, 7-8 yard run. So again, man, is it an issue of Najee Harris being ineffective, or is it an issue of the Colts in particular early in football games committing to defend the run and the Steelers struggling to run the ball as a result? That's something to look forward to this coming week on Sunday Night Football as Pittsburgh takes on the Dallas Cowboys.